Imagine this. A young man stands at the edge of a massive stadium. 50,000 people are chanting a name, his name. But just 3 years ago, that same boy was laughed off the field, told he'd never make it, told he wasn't good enough. What happened in between? How did a reject turn into the star who now owns the stadium? This is Jake Carter's story. Jake Carter was 17 when his dream came crashing down. It was supposed to be the most important game of his high school life. The bleachers were packed, scouts were watching, and Jake, skinny, undersized, but full of fire, was ready to prove himself. But that night, nothing went his way. He tripped, missed passes, lost possession. And when the game ended, his coach didn't sugarcoat it. "You're just not cut out for football, Jake. You're too weak, too slow, too small." The words weren't just harsh, they were final. His teammates laughed, some even mimicked his stumbles. Jake walked home that night with his helmet tucked under his arm, his dream in pieces. At home, Jake sat on his bed, staring at the posters of football legends on his wall. His mom, working a double shift at the diner, came in and saw the pain on his face. "Jake, what's wrong?" she asked. "They told me I'll never make it," he whispered. She put a hand on his shoulder. "Honey, if you quit now, you'll prove them right. But if you keep fighting, one day those same people will regret ever doubting you." That night, Jake made a decision. If the world said he wasn't good enough, he'd work until there was no argument left. For the next 3 years, Jake disappeared from the spotlight. At 5 a.m., when the streets were empty, he was running sprints. After school, while others partied, he was in the weight room pushing his body past exhaustion. At night, he'd study endless hours of game footage, mimicking professional moves, practicing footwork until his legs gave out. He didn't have proper training equipment, so he improvised, lifting buckets of sand when he couldn't afford gym weights, running with a backpack full of rocks to build endurance. He wasn't just training his body, he was building resilience. The hardest blow wasn't from strangers, it was from his best friend, Tyler Reed, the golden boy of their team. Tyler had the build, the talent, and soon the attention of college scouts. One day, Jake asked, "Hey Ty, can I train with you?" Tyler smirked, tossing the ball in his hand. "Jake, come on. Football isn't for everyone. Stick to hitting the books. Leave the field to real athletes." The words stung. Coming from his best friend, they cut deeper than the coach's rejection. But Jake swallowed his pain and trained harder than ever. By 20, Jake was no longer the scrawny kid everyone remembered. His body was solid, his speed electrifying, his technique sharp. But he still had no platform. No one had seen his transformation. Then it came. The regional open tryouts. Scouts from colleges and professional clubs would be there. Hundreds of players would compete for just a few spots. Jake looked at his mom. "This is it." She smiled, eyes brimming with pride. "Go show them who you really are." When Jake walked into the tryout stadium, he could feel the stares. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "Is that Carter? The kid who bombed out 3 years ago? He's still trying. This is gonna be sad." And then came Tyler, now dressed in sponsored gear, dripping with confidence. The crowd was already chanting his name. "You really came?" Tyler said with a laugh. "To watch me win?" Jake said nothing. He tied his cleats, his eyes blazing with determination. The whistle blew. The tryouts began. From the very first touch, Jake stunned everyone. His footwork was lightning fast, weaving through defenders with ease. His passes were sharp, his runs explosive. Every move silenced the crowd that once mocked him. Tyler noticed. Fueled by ego, he targeted Jake, shoving, tackling, trash-talking. "You'll never beat me, Carter." But every time Tyler knocked him down, Jake rose stronger. By the final minutes, the score was tied. Scouts leaned forward, pens ready. The next play would decide everything. The ball landed at Tyler's feet. He saw his chance. This was his moment. He charged, dribbling past 1, 2 defenders. The goal was wide open. The crowd screamed. But then, Jake appeared out of nowhere, stealing the ball cleanly. Gasps filled the stadium. He sprinted down the field, 3 defenders chasing. One tried to tackle. Jake spun out. Another lunged. Jake sidestepped. He was flying. The goalkeeper braced, sweat dripping. Jake drew his leg back and fired. Goal! The stadium erupted. Fans jumped to their feet. For the first time ever, it wasn't Tyler's name echoing through the stadium. It was Jake Carter. When the final whistle blew, scouts rushed toward Jake, shaking his hand, scribbling notes, eager to sign him. Tyler stood frozen, rage and disbelief in his eyes. "You got lucky," he spat. But everyone knew luck had nothing to do with it. Months later, Jake Carter stepped onto the field of a massive stadium. This time, not as a hopeful kid, but as a professional player. His mom sat in the VIP section, tears streaming as the crowd screamed her son's name. Jake looked around, the lights blinding, the cheers deafening. The same boy who was told he wasn't good enough now owned the stadium. And when the cameras shoved microphones at him, Jake smiled. "To everyone who ever doubted me, thank you. You made me unstoppable."